According to our sources, Tom Holland's Spider-Man was supposed to be a part of Tom Hardy's Venom universe, but either Sony or Marvel Studios decided to pull the plug. Thankfully, we were graced by Venom's presence in No Way Home, even if it was just in the end credits without any real interaction between the two, which gives us hope that they'll face off pretty soon. For now, let's take a look at some of their best comic book fights and why they're so hotly appreciated. First off, Tom Holland's crossover story pitch. Apparently, Tom Holland suggested a crossover story involving Spidey and Hardy's Eddie Brock. Not only that, but No Way Home was supposed to have a face-off between the two, but the two studios changed their minds at the last minute. Plus, according to another rumor, Marvel had originally planned for Tom Holland's Spider-Man to appear in Sony's Venom series as Peter Parker from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and this was confirmed by the Heavy Spoilers YouTube channel. It's also rumored that linking the two universes was part of the agreement between Marvel and Sony. We can't help but wonder if Tom Hardy's Venom will appear in it now that rumors have surfaced that he has signed new Spider-Man films with Marvel, especially with his cameo in No Way Home. But if rumors are to be believed, the fourth installment will presumably be a storyline set immediately after Daredevil Born Again. Does this mean Spidey 4 will include Venom? Fans are interested to see if the future sequel would give Holland's Peter Parker the black symbiote costume after it was hinted at in the post-credits sequence of No Way Home. Since a fourth MCU Spider-Man movie is now in early production at Marvel Studios, according to insiders, Peter won't get the symbiote suit until Avengers Secret Wars in 2026, which correlates to when the character first officially wore it in the 1984 comic book Secret Wars. Venom's involvement in Spider-Man 4 is unknown, but Sony's Venom 3 will feature the symbiote next in the confirmed Marvel film, according to the company's presentation at CinemaCon 2022. The forthcoming threequel, which will be the seventh movie in Sony's Spider-Man universe, is currently anticipated to release after Kraven the Hunter starring Aaron Taylor Johnson and the prospective franchise openers El Muerto and Madam Web. With Venom and Morbius generating a combined $1.53 billion at the box office globally, the SSU brand has established itself as a successful box office performer for the company. Let's talk about Sony's plans for the Venom franchise. With its superhero projects both inside and outside of the Spider-Man universe, Sony Pictures is in a very unique situation. Spider-Man No Way Home, the company's most recent collaboration with Marvel Studios, was a success. Following Tom Hardy's Venom and its sequel, Sony's now ready to release the second standalone franchise. After an almost unheard of 18+ month wait, Morbius finally made its theatrical debut. Sony is now hard at work creating its own Marvel Cinematic Universe to accommodate Morbius, Venom, and other villains. Unfortunately, there are still no indications as to where Spider-Man fits into the narrative. Recent statements from the company's director suggest that they might make the changes to the storyline soon. Moving on, will Spider-Man come to the Venom franchise? In a Twitter conversation, CinemaBlend asked Morbius director Daniel Espinosa if Spider-Man could show up in the same world as Venom and Morbius. Espinosa responded quickly with, "Of course." When asked if Spider-Man's in Venom's reality exists, Espinosa teased that audiences will know the answer soon. In response to CinemaBlend's question regarding which Spider-Man exists in that universe, this tells us that it's a matter of when Sony will use Spider-Man in the Venom universe, not if. Not to mention, Spider-Man has only featured in the MCU so far. Considering that Spider-Man villains and the characters he has collaborated with make up much of Sony's universe, it would seem appropriate for Spider-Man to make an appearance. It's still not apparent where the sticky hero fits into the universe, especially considering how much attention Venom and Morbius are now getting. Besides that, Sony has refrained from providing any kind of official response about the possible involvement of Spider-Man in all of their upcoming films. The post-credits scene from Venom Let There Be Carnage was the closest thing to being conclusive, but it was shut down by what happened in Spider-Man No Way Home. Fans will have to continue to wait and watch to see whether Sony releases any Spidey-related content, as the MCU and SSU are now quite clearly divided. There's no way to guarantee anything, but maybe the studio will be able to incorporate Spider-Man into the mix without too much trouble, especially since his MCU future is still being developed. Moving on, who will win in a fight? Venom is one of the most well-known well-known Marvel characters linked to Spider-Man. Throughout the history of Marvel Comics, the two have often teamed up and fought enemies together, but they've also duked it out from time to time. But who had the upper hand? Well, objectively speaking, Venom is far superior to Spidey in almost every way. So Venom could overpower him any day of the week, but of course, since Spidey is the hero, he ends up winning in the comics. It should go without saying that any storyline involving Venom will be epic. Venom has faced off against Spider-Man several times since his 1984 debut in the Spider-Man camp, and on some rare occasions, the two have also worked together. The two have engaged in mind-blowing battles throughout the years, making their rivalry one of the greatest in all of Marvel Comics. So let's look at some of the most memorable Spider-Man vs. Venom battles from the comics. Coming up, the fight from Ultimate Spider-Man number 38. In practically every fight in the comics, Peter Parker has been sporting one of his two trademark costumes, but you have to wonder what it would be like if he confronted Venom without one. Thankfully, we got to see that firsthand in Brian Michael Bendis' run of Ultimate Spider-Man when Peter Parker faced the symbiote antihero wearing everyday clothes and without his web shooters. In Ultimate Spider-Man number 38, Peter Parker and Venom fight in situations that are unlike any we've ever seen them engage in. The conflict almost lasts the whole issue, as Peter must come up with creative solutions to fend off Venom without using his usual Spider-Man abilities. It's one of their most original battles, and it was undoubtedly the standout moment of the 200-issue saga. Next up, the Amazing Spider-Man number 316 encounter. It's no secret that Venom and Spider-Man both have great powers. When the two fight, it's always a heavyweight match where one usually ends up pounding the other to a pulp. This pattern is repeated in one of their earlier clashes, which happened in Amazing Spider-Man's number 316 by David Michelinie and Todd McFarlane. Venom ultimately tricks Peter into a fight after beating up Black Cat and searching for information on Spidey's location. Venom pours a vat of blood on Spider-Man during their fight inside a meatpacking facility. It was epic. In a fit of panic, Peter manages to use machinery to take down his enemy and run. The battle finally spilled over into this next comic we're going to discuss because it ended abruptly and because Venom discovered Peter's new address. Now for the DC/Marvel All Access number 1 comic. It's not always wise to go up against Venom alone. It's only fair that Spider-Man sometimes gets help defeating the terrifying symbiote. Who could possibly be a better help to him in taking down his old nemesis than the Man of Steel? As bizarre as it may sound, Spider-Man and Superman once worked together to defeat Venom. In a 4-part crossover miniseries, DC/Marvel All Access number 1 introduces readers to the characters from the Marvel and DC universes, something we wouldn't mind seeing in the cinematic universe either. Venom surprises everyone by holding his own against two of the most recognizable superheroes, Spider-Man and Superman, who have powers that would make one assume that it'd make Venom tremble in fear, but they didn't. This was by far one of the most exciting comics that anybody read back in the day. Finally, the fight from Space Knight number 11. The Flash Thompson version of Venom travels the universe as an intergalactic agent and even becomes a guardian of the galaxy after fusing with the symbiote in Robbie Thompson's Venom, Space Knight. In spite of this, he manages to return to Earth, his home planet, where he meets up with an old buddy. One of the most aesthetically pleasing 10-page fights you'll ever see takes place between Spider-Man and Venom in the 11th issue of this series. Peter Parker is seen attempting to contain the symbiote and release his former classmate Flash by using a variety of flashy technological innovations. This stunning fight between the two characters is unlike anything you'd ever seen between them and completely fulfills what a Spider-Man vs. Venom fight should be if it ever happens in either the MCU or SSU. Some might say that Venom vs. Spider-Man fight scene from Spider-Man 3 was inspired by this comic, but with Eddie Brock as the symbiote. What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. That's it for today. If you liked the video, please leave a like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more awesome content just like this.